Well, good evening, everyone. March the 14th, 2021. Speaking of Zane, hope everybody can hear me okay. I see we already have some folks logged in there. There's Toby, my cousin. Hey, Toby, we were down in your neck of the woods today. Daryl's in there. Hey, Daryl, how you doing, my friend? Hopefully everybody got the word that we're going an hour late today, but it had nothing to do with the time change. It had to do with us running down to see my mom and dad and my sister for the day. And wanted to make sure we had plenty of time to spend with them and plenty of time to get back. And we got back, oh gosh, about 50 minutes ago. So I had plenty of time to make sure I got things set up and ready to go. There's my dad. Yeah, Dad, we made pretty good time. We didn't stop at all. We drove all the way through. Lori's got a cast iron bladder, and we just made it all the way through, right about 3 hours even or so. And so it was an uneventful drive home, except the little baby girl Carson was getting a little bit antsy there toward the end. Of course, she was sitting in a pile of poop, so that'll do it. And but we made it, and man, I'm so glad we came down there. We need to make a point of doing that often. We've probably done that more over the last year than we have in previous years, and I'm glad that we're spending more time with you guys down there, and we'll continue to do that. All right, there's Matt and Katie Aaron um, signing in here. I've got, let's see what I've got here. Happy anniversary, I think, is in order for Matt and Katie Aaron. I think it's their 10th anniversary was last week. And like a lot of us military couples, they were apart on their anniversary. Wow, like that never happens with anniversaries, birthdays, Christmases, holidays, right? But they had an anniversary, and their little girl Paisley turned 9 last week, and she was born just a few weeks before our grandson, Zane's son Colton. But on the 8th, yep, okay, on the 8th. So yeah, early last week. So glad that you guys are beating the odds there. 10 years and counting. Hopefully, many more to come for you guys. And looks like you're on the right track. Matt, this is Matt's last night in Washington, D.C. The Michigan National Guard, as well as many other state National Guards, are returning home. And Matt, thank you very much for continuing to serve in the National Guard after you left active duty. Let's see, who else did I miss here in the countdown? I see Lori is there. I wasn't sure Lori was going to be able to get right on because we just got in the door and she's trying to get the little baby fed and clothed and changed and all of that stuff. But somehow, like always, she manages to get it all done. Um, she's a magical grandmother. And let's see, there's Jim Miller, my buddy up in Omaha. Daryl's in there. Hey, Daryl, Toby. Let's see, I think I got everybody. Ken's in there. Hey, Ken. All right. Well, good. Glad to have everybody in here. We're going to have probably a really short Speaking of Zane tonight. We do not have a guest, although we will be having some guests coming up, and want to have a guest as frequently as I can get one. So if you guys know of anybody who'd be interested in talking for a few minutes to our group, let me know about that, and I'll certainly set it up. And we would love to hear from anybody that has that can talk to this group about. You guys know by now all the subjects that we're involved in, all the different things that might be relevant to us in this group. So if you have anybody that wants to be a part of the group and speak to us in some capacity, let me know that. It was great. What did you guys think of Aaron last week? Wow, what a great little ministry, I guess you could call it, that he has going in honoring those who have fallen, and raising awareness, raising funds, doing good work, and just takes one person to kick things off. And Aaron certainly is doing that. And he did a great job last week. I was glad that we had him on. Let's see. Okay, Katie thanked a vet at the grocery store. Awesome. Yeah, we you hear that a lot, Katie. I know when veterans still they don't know how to react to thank you, right? Even I mean from every era. I mean, we're probably it probably for those of us that have been doing this for the last couple years, we've kind of gotten used to it, right? We're thanking, we're receiving thanks, and it becomes a little bit familiar to us the more we do it. But there's veterans that have never heard it. There's veterans, that they don't know how to respond to it, and some of them, honestly, some people are so jaded and coarse that they're like, "What are you thanking me for?" I guess it's a mixed bag of potential responses um, that you're going to get, and I guess what I say is, I just whenever I can't think of what to say, and I've kind of defaulted to this when somebody tells me thank you, is I roll with the old Chick-fil-A motto, my pleasure. I just say my pleasure. It was my pleasure, and that seems to do the trick. Now I'll tell you, sometimes you can get in a conversation. I was walking past a guy yesterday in the Kroger parking lot. Him and his wife were coming out. I was going in. I had an Air Force hat on. And he said, "Go Air Force." I says, "Go Air Force." And he told me, he says, "I was blah, blah, blah." And I said, "I was blah, blah, blah." And we stopped. We had walked past each other and we were probably, you know, 10 or 15 yards away. And we just kept talking and kept talking until finally we said everything we had to say. But they don't all go like that, right? But, it, it's just an interesting thing. There's Andrew in there. How you doing, buddy? Good to have you in there. How are things up in North Dakota? Good to see you. Yeah, Lori says it was my honor to serve. That's true. I've said that too. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it, Katie. Hello, Aunt Cindy over in Alabama. How are you, dear? I love you. Good to have you in there. We're just getting started. Lori and I just got in the door. Lori and I and Tyler. We took Tyler, our oldest son. You guys know a little bit about that story. You guys know, the depth, the point that we were at, and we were, nothing's ever completely over until it's over. But we had been to a point where we were dreading hearing uh, bad news of his demise. That we had gotten so callous to it, and was just expecting to hear that about him. And um, he is home with us right now, waiting to go to this facility I was talking about down in Florida, and that'll be just in the next few weeks. But we took him down to visit his grandparents, my parents. I hadn't seen him in a couple of years, and we had a really good visit. Um, he was my mom's first grandchild, and so he kind of holds a special place to her. And you could tell in her eyes, she was so thrilled to see him. She kept saying, "You're so cute." He's 35, so but it was a really good visit that we had. Daryl got thanked by a Patriot Guard rider at the store today. Awesome. That's great. Okay, Ken, see you later, buddy. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, I know we're a little off tonight because of our timing here. Um, okay, great, Andrew. I know Andrew's got some kids that are in hockey, so his attendance here for speaking to Zane has been hit or miss a little bit because of that, and that's fine. I mean, life goes on. We have things to do and whatnot, but I'm glad y'all are here tonight, an hour later than normal. Actually, it's actually the same because of the time change, but it's an hour chronologically later. So anyway, we are going to rock and roll here. We've got I mentioned we've got some guests coming up. I don't know yet, but I'll try to give everybody plenty of heads up on the guests. And that way, if we have a guest that's a particular interest that we think that a broader audience might be interested in listening to, let's propagate that. Let's share it. They can watch on YouTube. They don't have to be on Facebook. I can give you the YouTube link, and we can just propagate to whoever we think might want to see what we've got. Let's see, our son Jackson and his wife Caitlin, who's the parents of this little baby girl we're looking after. They took this honeymoon trip of theirs. I mentioned they drove out through Texas and New Mexico and up into Colorado. And Jackson called me and said, "Hey, Dad, do you think I should go to Denver? There's a winter weather warning, and we're going up through Wolf Creek Pass." And I looked up the weather and everything. I said, "Well, the snow's not going to start till Saturday morning." This was Friday. I mean, I don't know what else you have planned, but you might as well get to Denver and at least, do everything you wanted to do. I wouldn't turn around and come back. You're that far anyway. Um, they don't have to leave there till Wednesday. I said, certainly everything will be travelable, navigable by Wednesday. And anyway, turns out they are snowed in. I don't know how much snow they got. They were calling for as much as 30 inches in Denver. And if you know anything about Denver, it is at a mile high. It's at over 5,000 feet, but it's off the peak. It's down kind of on a plateau, and it sits level at the base of the peaks of the Rockies. So consequently, they have some their weather patterns are very interesting. But there's my Aunt Mary. Aunt Mary's in there. Let's see. Anyway, so they've been gone and still are gone. We'll be back later in this coming week. And then our daughter-in-law Caitlin's family, her parents, I think her sister, I think her nephew, her friend, her sister-in-law. Anyway, there's a gaggle of them coming up from Florida to stay with us, I think, for a few days this coming weekend. So we will look forward to hosting them. And yeah, let's see. Oh, hat of the week. Ken, I'm sorry you had to go because the hat of the week is, I don't know if y'all can see that, the B-17 City of Savannah. You guys have heard me talk about that, I think, a few times. I've been involved for about the last 10, 11 years in the restoration of a World War II bomber, a B-17 Fighting Fortress. And I'm a ball cap guy. This is the hat of the week. I try to tie in the hat of the week to relate to something we've been up to this last week or next week. Anyway, I was asked to speak about the restoration of our airplane down near Savannah to a group of amateur radio operators down in South Georgia. Yesterday morning, bright and early, they had a club meeting and they're doing it virtual over Zoom, and they asked me to come spend an hour with them and talk about the B-17 and specifically about the radio compartment that we restored and some of the fun things that we've done. Anyway, so for that reason, this is the hat of the week. Oh, also, I just got an email that they're looking for some help from me as it relates to remotely controlling the turrets on the B-17. You know what the turrets are with the 50 caliber machine guns? There's a nose turret, there's a top turret, there's a ball turret, there's a tail turret. Anyway, they want to wirelessly control the turrets, and they need something from me. They either need some expertise or some opinion or something about the radio frequency spectrum and corresponding antennas or whatever. But anyway, I'm looking forward to hearing from the guy who's going to be working with us on that. He's actually an instructor at South Dakota. What is it called? South Dakota. Anyway, I don't know why I'm telling you this. I think it's kind of cool. Let's see, what is it called? I don't want to get this wrong here. South Dakota School of Mines and Technology. This guy's electrical engineering instructor out there. He is the nephew of the last owner of our B-17, and he's working with his students to design a way for us to remotely control those turrets. Anyway, they need my help for some reason, and so I'm going to be hearing from this guy, I'm told. So that'll give me more fun with the B-17. Anyway, that's why this is the hat of the week. All right, let's see who we've got in the chat here. Okay, Lisa Smith is there. You just heard me talking about you, Lisa. We're looking forward to having y'all up here. I don't know when you're getting here, but I will know when you get here. So y'all be safe, and we'll see you. Let's see. All right, what do we got here? Veteran Cemetery Challenge. As far as I know, we only had 2 visits this week. We had Daryl, of course. Daryl is a regular visitor. The only thing we usually have to wonder about Daryl is how many times that he visited Jefferson Barracks National Cemetery. Sometimes it's several. I think it was just 1 visit this week. So I've got Daryl down. And then Jackson, I mentioned Jackson and Caitlin are out in Denver. Well, they went out to New Mexico, and they drove right past and stopped and pulled in and took some pictures for me of Santa Fe National Cemetery. And Dad, I meant to ask you today, is that one that you visited, Santa Fe National? I think somebody had visited that one before, and I was thinking it was you. And I don't know, did Cody go out there with you? I can't remember. But anyway, so we got Santa Fe National. The only question is it a duplicate? Do we already have that one, or is it a new one? So that's 2 visits this week. That takes our Veteran Cemetery Challenge to 380 visits. 380 visits. 20 more visits, and we're going to be at the 400 mark. And that's at 125 or 26 different veteran cemeteries. And speaking of my dad, we were down. Okay, Dad, thanks. Yeah, I thought that was the case. We were down in this little town in South Georgia. Look it up if you don't know anything about it, but it's a little town called Fitzgerald, Georgia. It's where my dad's from and his family, and that's where they live today. Anyway, it's steeped in history. It's sort of in the dead center of South Georgia, and it's called Georgia's Colony City because after the Civil War, it very purposely became a city where um, the North and the South came together. Um, very, you won't see any of this on the news, but the North and the South, the veterans and the citizenry, they came together in this city of Fitzgerald and and made it kind of a healing after the war. And if you ever go to it, there's a little museum there. The theater's called Grant. It's on Grant Street. What is it called? The Grand. The streets are named for Union and Confederate generals. Um, the There's other all kinds of connections there. It was a place. It was a place of reconciliation. Fitzgerald, Georgia. Georgia's um, what was it called, Dad? Georgia's Colony City. I can't remember. Anyway, it's interesting. I'm ashamed of myself that it's taken me this long to kind of dig a little bit under the covers for all of the history of Georgia or of Fitzgerald. But anyway, there's a lot of antebellum homes in Fitzgerald. So just an interesting place if you ever get down on I-75 going down to Florida or something through Georgia. Make sure you make a little side trip to visit Fitzgerald, Georgia. It's very interesting. Okay, Matt. Matt has to go. All right. See you later, buddy. And be safe coming home. So anyway, while I was there today, several years ago, I don't know, maybe as many as 10, um, the they um, some organizations in the city put together a veterans memorial, kind of a little veterans memorial park, as many cities do. And I've never taken the time to look at it. And they hold a lot of the military related, veteran related kind of functions there. And it's just right off the main street. And my dad got a new truck, so I was driving it around, checking it out, and we drove past there, and I said, let's stop here, and he showed me around, and well, in fact, let me show you here, see if I can share, because I pulled that up, and I forgot that I can share these things nowadays. Let's hello, Brenda Lusk. That's okay for being late. We started an hour late today. Had nothing to do with the time change, but we were out of town and just got home. But let me see if I can share. There we go, right there. You guys will see it. Yeah, you guys can see that, can't you? That's in the little town of Fitzgerald. That's right in the center divide of sort of one of the main drags there, the east-west traffic in Fitzgerald, Georgia, and this is the little walkway with the pavers and the memorials recognizing the fallen, and just a neat day. It was beautiful weather, and I had never seen the marker there, or the little veterans park with all the markers. But it was fun to go visit that. Let's see if I can. There's the other picture there. That's my dad pointing out some of the men he knew from when they were in high school. Some of the men who died in Vietnam. Some of the ones that he knew there. But anyway, it was kind of a fun. It was really a fun afternoon spending down there with mom and dad and my sister. And let's see what else we've got here. So that's it for the Thank a Vet challenge. I need to add a couple. So let's see who said they had one. Katie had one, and let me look back here. Somebody else had a thank you. Katie, maybe it was just Katie, and then Daryl received a thank you. So I'm going to add one for Katie, and that makes 4 that we had this week. That's the one for Katie. I actually had 3 this week, quite by accident. I mentioned the one at the Kroger, Air Force guy, and then I was interviewing a young man at work this week who I'm considering hiring into a program that I'm directing. And turns out he was an Air Force vet, 6 years in the Air Force, and we had a good chat about that, and got a chance to tell him thank you. And then our son's dog Bill got out yesterday. Tyler was doing some yard work. I was farting around the house, and I left the door to the garage open, and we were all busy doing things. Nobody noticed that Bill the dog was missing. And Hannah, who was at work, my oldest daughter, she texts her mom and says, "Hey, Bill, somebody has Bill. Somebody found Bill in the neighborhood." And we're like, "What are you talking about?" And turns out Bill had bolted, and he had made his way down the street. Anyway, we have a neighborhood Facebook page and all that, and it turned out to be a great use case for having a community Facebook page. Before you know it, somebody had posted a picture of Bill with his very distinct one brown eye, one blue eye, and his Aussie shades. And anyway, so Hannah texted Lori, and then they got the address, and it was just around the corner. I just I could have walked over there, but I drove the truck over there. Anyway, what does that have to do with what does that have to do with it? But anyway, I got over there, and there were two neighbors, the husbands and wives, and they were all out in the yard. You know, it was beautiful weather. First of all, 75 degrees. Everybody was outside intermingling, and there was 3 or 4 or 5 kids there, all playing with Bill. And I pulled up, and they said, "Are you looking for Bill?" I said, "Yeah, I'm his granddad." And okay, well, he's having a good old time. I said, "Y'all want to keep him?" Anyway, I saw the license plate on the guy's truck, and I said, "Who's the Marine?" And he said, "That's me." And I said, "Well, thank you for your service." I was Air Force, and anyway, so we had a good chat. So that was another one that I got. So 3 for me this week. The one for Katie makes 4. So that takes us to 739 or 729, 729 times that somebody from this group has told someone, "Thank you, I appreciate you for your service." Yeah, Katie says she loves those human names for pets. Oh, yeah, Bill. I don't know. I don't know the story behind it, but he is definitely a Bill. And I've started calling him William when he gets in trouble because he gets in trouble quite a bit. He's not a very not a very well behaved dog. But let's see. Yeah, next door. Yeah, we use. Yeah, I think we have next door too. Somebody's putting in the Facebook thing there. Yeah, I think we have a neighborhood group in Facebook, and then a next door group. And between the two of those, we the neighborhood keeps track of when the UPS delivers to the wrong house and when dogs get away and all of that stuff. So very interesting. But let's see. So that was it for the Thank a Vet Challenge, the Veteran Cemetery Challenge. Yeah, that's you, Jimbo. I got you. Okay, buddy. Let's see. What else? Organization. So we talked about, let's see, really nothing to report there. The Reach Across Americas in December, the Running to Honor 5K that we talked about with Aaron last week is the end of July. I'll be putting some more info out on that. And it seemed like there was something else for organizations, but it's kind of slipped me. But we did have a loss this week. I don't know if you folks saw it. I posted it in the Speaking of Zane group, but we lost a Tampa police officer. There was a wrong way driver on the interstate at like 1 in the morning, and this officer responded, and then he ended up getting hit by the wrong way driver, and it killed them both. And he was a veteran of the force, I think 11 or 12 years on the force. He was an Army vet. His name was Jesse Madsen. Jesse Madsen. It's a terrible tragedy. And then I saw a very um, tender um, letter from a widow to her husband on Facebook this past week, and it was the wife of one of the soldiers in Zane's unit called Alan Alexander, and it was the 10th anniversary of his death, and just a very touching open letter that she wrote to him on the occasion of the 10th anniversary of his death. I had an opportunity to visit him where he rests there at Beaufort National Cemetery, I think it's called, Beaufort, South Carolina. Um, and I guess it was a couple years ago. I was in Savannah and made a little side trip up there to pay my respects. So it's the 10th anniversary. Kate, I don't know if Matt, did you know Alan? A lot of all the same guys knew him, and I think it's true. Was he injured in the same incident that killed Butcher and Cagle? That I don't recall. Matt had to drop, so we'll have to find out next week. But anywho, all right. Let's see. Oh, I didn't hear that, Katie. I'll take a look for that one and make sure I am able to read his name next week. I didn't know that, and that's a shame if that's the case. But all right, folks, I can't think of another thing that I have got to say except for have an awesome week. And remember, when you're out and about, it doesn't take anything just to wave or say thank you. To a veteran as you're walking by them at the Lowe's or the Home Depot or wherever you happen to be, and check on your buddies. I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but there was a guy on Speaking of Zane last week. He logged in and he said, "I'm here from Japan," and that he's the longest distance participant in Speaking of Zane that we've had. That's my buddy Jerry. Jerry and I served together in the Air Force, and he is still serving as a civilian contractor and involved in a project, a particular mission that takes him all over the world all the time. And he happened to be in Japan. Well, anyway, I mentioned that because he had called me to check on me earlier in the day, and as he will often do when he's bored out of his skull and he has nothing better to do than call Mac. And anyway, I just love it that 30 years later, we can still talk to each other like we're, you know, 25 years old, 30 years old. It's an amazing bond for sure. But don't forget to check on your buddies. You don't know what people are going through. It just all it could take is you calling and checking on somebody, letting them know you care, to change their frame of mind, to turn around a bad situation. People need to know that somebody gives a dang, and that's why we ought to be checking on each other. I'm convinced of that. That's true in the general population, but certainly true for veterans. No doubt about it. Remember, it's tough. I had an opportunity to say this quote. Gosh, it was with work. I said the quote that you often hear me say, and it might have been when I was on the panel for our veterans group. But I talked about um, how it can seem insurmountable, the 22 a day, and the whole situation. Where do you start? Can you really make a difference as one person or one small group of people? And I always quote Ronald Reagan, with we can't help everyone, but everyone can help someone. And so I got another opportunity to say that to a different group of people. So hopefully it hopefully it rang true for some. But and the new, don't forget, we'll start saying it more and more as we get closer and closer to Reach Across America. But um, I think this year's what is this year's phrase? Live up to their legacy. Live up to their legacy. That's this year's. Last year's was be an American worth dying for, and this year it's live up to their legacy. So that's a good thing to always be considering. Are we living up to their legacy? But all right. Well, thank you, folks. That's it for this week. I'm going to see if I can get our guest speakers lined up because I think it's more exciting than just hearing this old man talk. But I sure do enjoy it, though, and I hope we do this for a long time. I think, as I've mentioned before, at least for me, and I think I speak for Lori in saying that this is therapeutic for us to talk about Zane and to share things about Zane and our son Tyler and other things where um, we feel like others are coming alongside us and strengthening us, and it's a good thing. But and then ultimately, hopefully, we're making a difference by just bringing awareness to veterans issues and military families and all those things that matter. But we will see everybody next Sunday. I don't know when our guests will be here and everything. We'll certainly still do Speaking of Zane. I might be grilling. I might be doing so. I don't know what's going on. Lori and I are going to have to get together this week and figure out what the weekend is going to look like. But we're looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to being right back here next Sunday night, March the 21st, I guess it'll be, for Speaking of Zane, where we are at the 135th week. So our next major milestone will be 150 times that we've done this. Incredible to believe we have. But anyway, we'll look forward to seeing everybody next week for the 136th. God bless. Have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you next week.